Hi, welcome back to Podium Pop, a motorsport podcast. I am Grace, here with my co-host Celine, and it is summer break in the motorsport world right now. Well, Indycar and Formula One. So we thought it was going to be maybe a chill little time, and boy, were we wrong.
We actually knew.
No, yeah.
It was going to be
after Lewis Hamilton's announcement with Ferrari, there was no peace going to be ever. But we have a lot to talk about this week, so let's pop the bottle and get right into it. Before we start, though, make sure you are following us here on Spotify and YouTube, and on all social medias. We are on Instagram and TikTok mostly, post a lot of content there. And after summer break ends for IndyCar, we will be at that racing gateway. So make sure you are following us there to catch all that content and content from past races that we've been to. Should we get started?
Let's go.
Big news, starting off strong. This is a win for Podium Pop, by the way.
This is a win for Podium Pop.
We predicted this exactly, that Carlos Sainz was going to announce he was going to Williams on the first day, Monday of winter break, and that he did.
Literally the exact day that we said, the exact place he was going, and the exact way he was going to do it, all of it.
We said he's going to announce it, like, you know, whatever, bada bing, bada boom. And then I said he's going to throw his phone in the ocean and go take a vacation. He announced it, and like 2 hours later, he posted that he was on vacation. So,
and he's been silent ever since.
Silent.
We have been waiting for this announcement
so long.
Literally since like the week after Lewis announced that he was going to Ferrari.
Everybody's like, wait, where's Carlos going?
I have thought about this so long, and now that I have the answer, I'm like, And
that week that Lewis announced he was going to Ferrari, never would have guessed Williams.
No.
Not in my wildest dreams.
All places he could go, not going to Williams.
Did not, nope.
And
but here we are.
What are your thoughts on Carlos at Williams?
I really think and I know it's not just going to be Carlos, it'll be a whole team effort, but I think he will be there to help bring them back to maybe not even totally like a fraction, a half, whatever, of what Williams used to be. I'm pretty excited to see it. I think him and Alex will work well together, and I think they both kind of have that mindset of wanting to bring the team up, you know, closer, higher in the midfield. Yeah,
I agree. I think that they are not really focused on 2025. They're focused on 2026 and on with the new regulations coming in. They think that they're going to be really competitive during that. And I think that James Vowles probably promised a lot, and it's probably similar to things that he says to Alex a lot. I mean, as we know, James Vowles is a charmer. He says the right things. He got us.
Good.
Real good.
Real good.
And so I think that Williams is in a really good spot. I think that they couldn't find two different drivers that are perfect, that, you know, well, they could find two better drivers. It'd be like Max and, you know, Lewis. But like, as far as drivers that are experienced and are able to communicate like what is working and what is not, but obviously are attainable to get on their team. And I think that they have found the best possible option for their lineup next year.
I agree.
I think that Carlos and Alex will work really well together.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that their content will be really funny, which is obviously a big part.
I'm sorry, but I hope they continue Team Torque.
Me too.
That could be funny.
Yeah.
We also need to talk about how the fact that James Vowles, somehow this sneaky little man, saw this coming, and after Abu Dhabi last year, went to Carlos and started being like, laying the cards on the table for him. Which I think is insane.
James Vowles is in his mastermind Taylor Swift era.
Literally. Which also James Vowles did that and then turned around and signed Logan for 24. And
he was playing the long game, and unfortunately Logan was
bait. That's not the right term. But
no, he was. What is the word?
Used.
Well, I mean, yes. No, collateral damage.
He was collateral damage. Yeah. Unfortunately.
Poor buddy.
James Vowles has been some of his interviews have been so weird. Did you see when he was like, my wife Rachel didn't know what our relationship was? Dog, what do you mean your wife was confused on what your relationship was?
I didn't see that interview.
No, like, word for word, that's what he said. He was like, she was confused, and then he was like, lots of nights spent in hotel rooms, me going to his hotel room.
No, literally.
Was this a fanfic?
I did see that. I did see being like, I spent a lot of time in Carlos's hotel room. Like,
okay. Thanks for telling us, I guess. Didn't need to know that. We need to talk now about the Logan Sargeant of it all. Which, before that, Carlos said, at, like, the beginning, kind of after, like, the Lewis stuff, he said that he would call the driver whose seat he was going to take because he, was in that position and didn't want them to find out, like, bad ways. He wanted to be the person himself to do it. So, very curious to see if he did that. I don't know if we'll ever figure out.
We probably will never know.
No. I would love to be a fly on that wall.
Oh my gosh. What would he say to him?
And to Logan.
And
how many times have Carlos and Logan talked?
Oh man. Yeah, Logan probably getting the call being like, who is calling me right now?
Literally. Like, random ass number. But
interesting.
Yeah.
How long do you think Alex has known?
That's a really good question.
Like, I'm sure Alex has known for a while that they wanted Carlos.
Oh, yeah.
And I do think that it was a decision made pretty recently.
I think so.
But I feel like I'm sure that, like, it happened and then immediately Alex probably knew. I think Alex and James are real. Alex and James give George and Toto vibes.
A little bit.
But, like, young, like, little brother version of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, it would not surprise me if, like, give it a couple years, like, Carlos is gonna go visit James Vowles, and, Alex is gonna be at his house.
No, see, I don't know.
Yeah, actually, that might just be special to Toto and George.
I think so.
I don't quite get them.
No, me either.
But I don't have to. It's not my business. Mm-hmm. It's not my business what goes on.
Back to Logan. So, for a long time, Logan to Indycar, and specifically Logan to Prema rumors have been going around, and then they kind of dropped off a bit, but then after this week they were kind of back, and Motorsport.com reported that even if he doesn't go to Prema, there are other IndyCar teams that are interested in him. Hope it's not JHR. Oh. That's my only...
But...
Oh, go ahead. No,
if it is JHR...
I'll wear that.
It's a foot in the door.
Brad Logan.
Brad Logan.
Yeah, I just hope so. But also, a lot of videos of him racing in Elm's European Le Mans series have resurfaced. And even an Elm's team was, like, tweeting with, like, the real ones know Logan got pole, like, I forget what it was. It was, like, he got pole position for something, or, like, second. I don't know.
I'd love him in Elm's,
I know,
too.
me too. God, imagine if him and Clem were teammates.
Oh, I would love that.
They used to race together, too.
Yep.
So, that would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we ready to switch gears?
We're ready.
Because this is a doozy.
It's a doozy. There's a conspiracy theory going around.
And
it's just all rumor, all unconfirmed. This is not reporting live. This is just the girlies chatting, okay?
And this took over literally Twitter, Instagram, everything Formula One world for like a solid 2 days. Mm-hmm. And that I feel like that's all people were talking about.
Yeah. So, rumor is that Checo was pretty much out the door. Mm-hmm. That, coming back from summer break, Daniel Ricciardo would be taking over the spot at Red Bull, and that Liam Lawson realistically would be the one stepping into V-Carb.
Yeah.
It was like everyone, like, that's the rumor that was going around the paddock, basically, and then it got leaked out. So everyone was joking, even before this started happening, everyone was joking because right after the race, which I don't even know if we talked about it or not, but right after the race, Max, like, posted, like, a video of him and Daniel looking so happy as clams.
Taking a chopper
out of the track. And everyone was, like, joking. They're like, oh, Max, like, soft launching his new teammate, or, like, this confirming the teammates coming back and all this stuff. And then some rumors started coming out. Mm-hmm. So basically the rumors were that Checo was going to, obviously the rumors that Checo was going to be gone. Christian releases a statement on Monday or Tuesday? Tuesday, basically being like, Checo is not going anywhere. He will be finishing out. He will be returning.
Yeah.
And racing with us.
Along with that, they said that Daniel will be staying in the V-Carb seat. Because there were rumors about Daniel leaving. And
then now they're like, so what happened? Because it was pretty much like confirmed they had a meeting with Checo, and then after the meeting things have changed. And people are saying again, all rumor, that the reason why they are keeping Checo is because sponsors and Liberty Media, specifically, who basically run Formula One, said that they didn't say it. They encouraged Red Bull to keep Checo because they were nervous about the Mexican Grand Prix sales going down. Yeah. From the loss of Checo. And while I think that is so, like, unfair, I get it, because I do think that the sales would go down for the Mexican Grand Prix. So. I think people would be livid. They'd lose a huge fan base.
Yeah, they would lose a massive fan base.
And I think that all of it's... I've seen it happen before. Like, they've kept people around for the money plenty of times in Formula One, so it's really not that off base.
Yeah. And we also saw a report that the Verstappen family was also told that, like, Checo was leaving. I thought that was so interesting. Like, the full report was, like, Verstappens were told about Checo leaving and, like, da-da-da-da, and then, like, Joss was, like, in the helicopter ride with Max and Daniel. I don't know. It just so interesting.
It sounded like it was pretty much a done deal, and everyone knew about it. Max knew about it. Max was posting selfies. What is that man posting selfies? And that, you know, that Daniel knew about it. Liam would have had to know about it. And then that meeting happened and everything changed. And while I am happy for Checo, I don't think it's completely fair. I think it's actually really unfair, and I think it's sad for Daniel and for Liam. To, like, keep having this little, like, thing dangled in front of you and all these rumors, and then finally, after all this speculation and all this rumors and months of the back and forth, you get told, this is this thing you're waiting for, this is the chance, here's your spot. It's happening. And then a day later, they're like, actually, we changed our mind. Well, you're staying where you are, buddy. Yeah. Which, again, to be fair, that there's still a chance Checo doesn't come back.
Well, Helmut Marko then came out and said in 2025 there's going to be shuffling around or switch ups in the team.
But even then, like, I saw, like, a tweet and it was like an article of Christian Horner being like, Alex Albon to finish out the season for Red Bull, and then another, like, with the date of, like, I forget what date it was.
Oh, yes.
And then, like, 2 days later, an article coming out being like, Alex Albon replaced in Red Bull. And it's like, so, like, everyone's like, you know, we can't really trust what they're saying. Like, there is a chance, maybe they just didn't want, like, and they're buying some time. I don't know.
It's very, very interesting. But if I was Alex and Pierre, I'd be pissed.
Pissed off.
Oh my God. And I feel like at this point they're, like, over it and can't actually think about it too much, or else, you know what I mean? But still, I would be upset.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
It is. It's like, it's sad, but again, happy for Checo for getting another chance. Like, I do feel bad for him, but at the end of the day, like, the results aren't there. He is literally so far down. He would be an 8th in the standings if it wasn't for George getting disqualified for a stupid reason.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens by the end of summer break.
We'll see what happens.
And, like, all this happening, this is, like, Tuesday by summer break.
Yeah,
it was like
2 days in.
2 days.
48 hours into summer break.
All that happened. More Alpine news. Oliver Oakes is the new Alpine team principal. I'm gonna be honest, I can't keep up with what's going on over there.
No, I let Alpine do their own thing until they bring pink camo in or Jack Doohan. I don't pay too much attention. I'm waiting for one or two of those things. I prefer both. Yeah. And you just know Jack would come in and be like, let's get the pink camo back. He'd be an advocate for the people, and that's why we want him on the team.
For sure. Which, speaking of, for the longest time, there have been rumors about him, you know, coming up in Alpine. He's their reserve driver. But this week, I think it was on Wednesday, there was, like, another article that was like, it's going to happen, and as, like, early as sometime during summer break, he could be announced as the Alpine driver. And first of all, of course, we're excited.
I saw a video pop up this week, and it was just him talking, but I was like,
no, I know. Somebody was like, do not post this man's face again until you are telling me he's on the grid next year.
Like, they were teasing us.
Yes. And I think I've been pretty good on my predictions lately. So I think either what I think is probably going to happen is the week of the Dutch Grand Prix, like Summer Break's ending, that Monday, they're going to announce Jack as the Alpine driver, and then he'll, do some social media, and then he'll go into media day on that Thursday full force. It'll be very exciting. Or they're going to announce it, like, this coming week on a Monday. It's going to be on a Monday, I feel like.
And again, we post this on Monday.
So
if it does come out on Monday.
We're also recording this early this week on Friday, August 2nd. So if something happens over the weekend, tune into our socials because that's where we'll be.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that's going to happen. I'm putting my Podium Pop stamp of approval. Nice. And can't wait to see on the grid Jack doing.
Some IndyCar news. So there's all these rumors about Logan going to Prima, which again I would love.
Yeah, of course.
There's also now this week Connor Daly is testing for JHR.
In place of
Canapino. In place of Canapino. They say there's no announcement or decision made for anything coming back from summer break. But let me just tell you. So the first race back from summer break is Gateway, which we will be attending. And if we get to attend the race that Connor Daly comes back to IndyCar for, well, I guess actually comes back, not just like a last minute reserve driver, I will be so excited. Next week is my birthday, and I'm getting my nails done for Brad Summer, and they're going to be like a nice lime green, and then the week after I'm going to the race, I'm like, oh my god, people are going to think I'm supporting JHR.
Maybe.
I will happily support JHR if Connor Daly is driving for them.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's good news.
Yeah.
Also...
Well, still with JHR, we have seen... We saw, about a week ago, I would say...
About a week ago... I'm sorry.
What is it, 2015? That reports were flying that Canapino was going to be out for sure at the end of this year, and could even be by the restart of the season after summer break. I don't know why I said it like that. So Connor Daly driving the JHR and testing makes sense. And also apparently at testing, Canapino's name was still kind of like up on the board, but he was not there from what we could see.
And also, didn't you say who was testing for RLL?
Zane Maloney.
Zane Maloney.
Big news for Podium Pop.
Loves Zane Maloney.
He's my
I
favorite
love
F2
Pietro.
Okay.
And so if RLL picks up Zane Maloney and Zane Maloney and Pietro are teammates,
you guys, we would be literally, first of all, unstoppable. Second of all, we would have to be the number one RLL fans.
We would become so freaking annoying.
Yeah,
honestly,
we really would. Well, so what happened was on Wednesday, it was reported that Zane was going to Indianapolis to test IndyCar, and then it was like, he's going to be there tomorrow on Thursday. He sure was. I saw a video, he was doing those laps. Oh, something was playing in the background, like over the IMS speakers. It was funny. I forget what song it was, but also he was like Zane Maloney doing his first laps in IndyCar while like whatever plays in the background. It was so funny. But yeah, I think that's so exciting. But what makes this a little interesting is the fact that just today on Friday, we have seen reports that Gabriele Bortoleto, who is second in the F2 standings right now, has been linked to the Sauber seat. But Zane Maloney is the Sauber reserve driver, and he's over testing an IndyCar. This is like so interesting.
Are they looking at Bartolo because of Zane Maloney maybe already having a contract signed? I don't know.
Maybe.
It's all up in the air.
Yeah. We know for a fact that RLL has that seat open because Christian Lundgaard is leaving and going to Arrow McLaren. So
which Alexander Rossi, where are you going?
Where are you?
What's your deal? Can you tell us something soon?
Such a good point.
Also, Jamie Chadwick was testing for Andretti.
She's testing in September.
She is testing in September for Andretti.
Yeah.
And I personally would lose my marbles.
Yeah.
If Jamie Chadwick drove for Andretti.
No, that would be absolutely amazing.
It would be really... Because she is obviously an Andretti driver for Indy Next. And Andretti is one of the top teams, so it would be kind of insane for someone coming in new to IndyCar to go straight to one of those top teams, but if anyone could do it,
Yeah, be
It's my girl Jamie.
Which Sky Sports fucked up and was so annoying about it. They were like, Jamie Chadwick, they just misdid their headline. And it was like, Jamie Chadwick, first woman to test in Indycar, which they meant to say, Jamie Chadwick, first woman to test in IndyCar, like moving up the ranks from Indy Next. Because Catherine like freaking drove her the 500.
Yeah.
They really just messed that up. It was a bit of a rough moment. I feel bad that, Catherine Legg did not get that.
Yeah. Once again,
credit.
Sky Sports fumbling the bag on that.
Well, are we surprised?
Likely place for them to be.
Likely place for them to be. So we had a lot of news this week, and that's kind of what we rounded up this past 20 minutes. What else do you think is going to happen this summer break? Do you think anything crazy? Like... Oh, actually, we forgot a big thing.
What?
Back to Red Bull. Jonathan Wheatley's leaving.
Oh, yeah.
He is leaving Red Bull at the end of this season, and he is going to take a gardening leave. So Red Bull posted this. Red Bull Racing came out and posted this. He's going to take a gardening leave in 2025, but they didn't specify how long. Normally in Formula 1, their gardening leaves are a year, so we'll see. And he's allegedly going to Audi to be the team principal, but Audi hasn't said anything, and we saw reports come in that Audi was, like, not ready for them to be saying this. Audi has not said a single thing about him.
That is true. Yeah, because Red Bull in the statement said team principal for and Audi's like, I don't know about this. Also, it is just interesting how, Adrian Newey is leaving Red Bull.
Yep.
Jonathan Wheatley, who's the sporting director, is leaving Red Bull. Yeah. Christian Horner's, everyone wants him to leave Red Bull.
Literally.
Like, are we seeing the downfall of Red Bull?
I mean, we're watching it happen.
We're literally watching them crumble.
They're losing 2 key players in their team.
They don't have 2 consistent drivers. Like,
no.
They're keeping Checo around. They're basically being forced by F1 to keep Checo around.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
Well, I just want to put that in.
Put that in. Yep. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Don't quote me on it. And Max is obviously very unhappy with the strategies that have been being called, as well as how the car has been feeling. Red Bull, if they don't get their shit together, they're gonna continue tumbling. Like, they need to figure something out. Like, they need to have a powwow or
fire Christian Horner.
Something.
And it's like,
would solve
why
this.
are all these key people leaving? There's a common denominator here, and everybody knows it.
Everyone hates Christian Horner.
Yeah, and he's a shitty person.
Yeah.
And the fact that this man is still in the position of power that he's in is absolutely insane.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about
it. Like, I feel like we can't get into it again, or else it'll just A, make me mad again, and B, like, we've already done it. Yeah, so Red Bull, it's going to be really interesting to see what's happening. I feel like we're not done hearing from them this summer break.
We'll
and, like, we never are,
something.
but we're hearing about them a lot more.
Yeah.
Somebody tweeted and was like, Max is going to show up to the first meeting with the stewards in 2025 without Wheatley? Oh, God.
You're Wheatley?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know why.
Wheatley?
And he's not gonna know what to do.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he like always goes with Max and
He's a sporting director.
He's a
lawyer. He wears a lot of hats.
Does he?
Not actually a lawyer. I was saying, like, he acts as a lawyer for Max.
I was gonna say, every picture I've seen of him,
he's innocent, Your Honor. That's Jonathan Wheatley, like, every weekend.
The defendant was just standing on business. That's
exactly. But no, I think that I'll be interested to see how Red Bull handles this and other things moving forward, specifically that second seat next to Max.
Yeah.
And specifically how V-Carb. And really how they handle Liam Lawson in general. Like, if Liam Lawson is not driving in Formula 1 next year, the system is broken. And actually, I can tell you right now, the system's broken.
The system is broken, for sure.
But if Liam Lawson does drive next year, which I know technically he's not a rookie, but he didn't, like, have a
full
actual seat for that whole year. Ollie Behrman, Kimi Antonelli, maybe. Probably. Jack Doohan, possibly either Maloney or
Barretto,
and Liam Lawson. 5 rookies. Going 0 to 5.
So that also makes me think, with all these contracts we're seeing multi-year contract. We're seeing 2025 and beyond, 2025, 26 and beyond. Are we going to get another repeat for 2026 where it's the same exact grid as 2025?
And I actually think that is the case because I think a lot of teams know that 2025 in general is going to be pretty much just a throwaway year because it's the year right before all of the regulations change. They want rookies to come in and be comfortable and learn an F1 car so that when the new regulations hit in 2026, it's a lot easier. If you bring a rookie in at 2026, I think that they would be like...
It'd be a struggle.
It would be,
sure.
like be sink or swim.
Yeah.
Like 2025 gives all of these like new drivers and these younger drivers the chance to get comfortable before it's important to be on your A game because everyone knows when new regulations come out, there's always teams that get it and there's always teams that don't.
Yeah.
And they want their drivers to be able to communicate like this is working, this isn't. But if you have a new rookie in there, they're like, I don't know what this is supposed to feel like. So I think that a lot of teams are bringing in the new drivers this year knowing that if they don't do fantastic 2025, it's okay.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like 2025 is going to be like another pretty competitive year.
Yeah, I think it'll be really depending on how Red Bull like kind of continues, but at the rate that it's going, the people they're losing, and also just how they're looking this year, I think it's going to be a lot of like back and forth. It'll be interesting though because I don't know, like I feel like if there's not one very obvious car, like how, you know, Mercedes was really obviously the best car, Red Bull was consistently obviously the best car. This year it's like some weekends Red Bull, some weekends Ferrari, some weekends McLaren, some weekends Mercedes, and the fact that like it's so unpredictable, I think it's going to be like that next year.
I agree with that. It's gonna be
and I'm going to love it.
And the rest of this year is going to be so interesting, and oh my god. I'm just obsessed with this. Yeah. Sometimes I sit there. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I sit and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing right now? And then
just thinking about cars.
I sit there and I'm like, I love this. I'm having the time of my life. I'm going to races. I'm going with my friends. I'm meeting new friends. I'm meeting people that we met online on Instagram and TikTok. We're becoming closer friends. And I just love this little community. It's cute. It's fun.
I think I like this little life.
I sure like this little life.
That's the second song I sang today.
What was the first song you sang?
About a week ago.
Oh. I thought you were like, in general, not on the podcast. And I was like, okay, sure.
But no, so predictions for summer break. I think that before the race, and you kind of went into more detail, but I think we will know who has the other Alpine seat.
I agree.
I feel like maybe Sauber is going to wait until closer to the end of the year.
I feel like Sauber definitely will be.
Because I think they're more interested in seeing how their current drivers do.
In F2.
And F2. And both of their current drivers don't have a contract for next year.
Yeah.
So I think that they want to wait it out a bit. So I feel like we won't see. But like Alpine, out of their options, they know what they're going to get.
Yeah, for sure.
Because their two options, or not their only two options, but two of their options, Mick and Jack. I almost said John. Who's John? Mick and Jack.
Yeah.
They have experience. They know what they have. They've been part of the family for a long time. So I don't think they're going to wait as long as versus like Sauber.
And also, I think Sauber... I mean, we can see the two Sauber drivers aren't. I mean, they've not had the best car. I'm not just putting it on Joe and Valtteri, but I think they're also thinking ahead to Audi into 2026, and like we said, these new regulations. And I feel like, in my personal opinion, once again, it would be in their best interest to bring in a new driver and maybe get them used to it. Like, I don't know. It's very interesting to see. Also, in that same kind of vein of all these rookies, there's a lot of people leaving.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have contracts for next year.
Yeah.
And I'll name them. K-Mag. Just kidding.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't even know if I could name them all. Well, K-Mag doesn't have a contract next year. Logan obviously doesn't have a contract next year.
Joe and Valtteri.
There's got to be more.
Nope, we figured it out.
Is that it?
Well, Daniel.
Ah, yes. Sweet little Daniel.
You guys. I know I said this last week, but I think... Everybody stop. Stop.
Say it.
Stop what you're doing.
Say it.
Okay, maybe like I'm sitting in the very back of the Daniel Ricciardo train. I'm in the back seat.
She's the caboose. I'm
okay. That episode of the Red Flags podcast was funny. I watched
that Daniel Ricciardo t-shirt I bought months ago that I bought it right before he made those like really shitty comments about the whole Christian Horner situation. Mm-hmm. I haven't worn it once. Is it long enough? I can wear it out in public now.
No,
we're not I mean, all the drivers make shitty comments.
No, all the drivers make shitty comments. I was gonna say, I think, like, he has such a dedicated fan base that, like, no. And it wasn't even just those comments. Obviously, I'm gonna take the term that I've seen fan behavior use. They say, like, fatigued by a driver. Mm-hmm. Like, you've seen too much of it. Yeah. And I think for a while I was, like, just a little fatigued. It happens.
It happens to a lot of the drivers. Sometimes I go through so many phases. Like, I went through, like, a huge Carlos phase, and then I was fatigued by him.
Yeah.
I went through a huge Charles phase, and I was like, get this guy off my screen. And it's just, like, a thing that you go through with certain drivers. And Daniel is definitely someone that you I mean, Daniel, when he's there, he's everywhere.
Yeah.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere.
And that man just makes the best merch.
It's such so good merch. Enchanté. Will I ever buy one? Yes, but will it hurt my bank account?
Absolutely.
And I'll do it anyways.
Part of me wants to wait for Coda again, because he had a great Coda collection last year.
Yeah. He loves Coda.
He does love Coda. Oh, speaking of Coda, our podcast has been a manifestation space recently.
Yes.
With getting predictions right. And this is not going where you think it's going.
Oh, okay.
And somebody even commented on one of our TikToks and was like, your podcast is a manifestation space. Mm-hmm. And one of my favorite podcasts, Brooke and Connor Make a Podcast, they also say that their podcast is a manifestation space. I've said that too many times. I'm sorry.
Take a shot every time she says manifestation space.
Maybe space him out a bit.
Yeah.
I am going to manifest right here, right now, that I will be at Coda. And at Coda, I do a hot lap.
Wow, that's a big ask there.
I know it's a big ask, but
it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to ask it.
I'm just putting it out into the universe. All I want to do is sit in a car that's going fast, driven by someone else very safely. That's all I want.
Is that too much to ask
Roller
for?
coasters aren't doing it for me anymore.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love your passion. I love your dreams.
Thank you. Thanks for supporting me.
I am also manifesting the same thing. Sure, I'll throw my hat in the ring.
Yeah, go ahead. Join me.
Me too.
Wait, I know they don't do this, but imagine we're both in a car. Let's do a hot lap. Like, it's driven by, like, Mick.
Like, Mickerton!
Drive faster, Mickerton!
You'd be like, get these girls out of my car!
No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, we'd play it cool.
If anybody is listening that is anybody, we'd be
so chill. We wouldn't be weird at all.
Absolutely not.
It'd be fine. What's next? What else? Anything else that happened this week?
Not a lot of news that's happened this week. Well, okay.
Okay,
a lot of
what?
news. Sorry, a lot of news has happened. Not anymore that we need to talk about.
Again, this is Friday, though.
This is Friday. I feel like it's gonna settle down over the weekend.
I think it'll probably settle down for quite a few weeks, and it's gonna be hard.
We'll get through it.
Okay.
We'll get through it.
Okay.
We have next weekend.
Listen, it's only been, how many days since the last race? 5 days?
Yeah.
And I about jumped out of my seat when I saw Daniel Ricciardo on a Visa commercial during the Olympics. I was freaking out. I was like, it's been too long. My friend Emily, who I was watching with, was like, really? Really? I was like, Daniel!
Speaking of the Olympics, I was on FaceTime with one of our friends, and she had the Olympics on in the background, and I heard Lee, who used to commentate on Indycar races, in the background, and I was like, oh, are you watching the Olympics? She was like, yeah, and she was like, what? And I was like, oh, the commentator used to comment on Indycar races, so that's how I knew you were watching the Olympics.
Like, it's a problem.
And, yeah.
It's fine, though.
Yeah. If I circle everything back in my life, if I circle...
Try again.
Okay. If I circle everything back to motorsports, and you know what? That's what makes me happy.
That's what makes her happy.
Thank you.
She said no pickles.
I love pickles. Yeah. She said extra pickles,
she said
actually.
Extra pickles.
Where's my pickles? Should we do some champagne pops and champagne problems for the first week of summer break?
Yeah.
You can do IndyCar, you can do Formula 1, whatever you want.
Okay.
I'm going to give my week 1 of summer break champagne pop.
I hope you don't take mine.
Oh.
Go.
I'm going to give it to Carlos.
Okay.
For, finally just getting that seat down, figuring everything out, and mainly...
putting everyone out of their misery.
Yeah, mainly giving him the champagne pop so I can stop thinking about where he's going to go next year.
I've had such a clear mind since Monday. My brain fog is lifted. I feel like a new woman.
I also, to interject really quick, so many people were like, oh my gosh, shocked.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell people were doing that for, to get, clicks and interactions on their posts, but I was like, you guys.
Where else was he going? He didn't have any other option.
Not going to Audi after Mattia was announced he's going there.
Oh, no.
Who was your champagne pop for week 1?
I'm giving my champagne pop, although she's not doing it until later, but I'm giving it to Jamie.
Oh, love
that. Because the news came out about her testing for Andretti. And I love Andretti and I love Jamie. And I think that they would be the perfect partnership. And I would love to see Jamie Chadwick in IndyCar next year.
Yeah, I would love that.
With Andretti, preferably. Mm-hmm. But anywhere, really.
Mm-hmm. What is your champagne problem for week 1?
I'm going to have to give it to my boy Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Because, damn, it's so sad. We didn't comment about this earlier, but the fact that they announced Carlos was taking the seat before they announced that Logan was leaving.
Yes.
So shitty. Haas did it right. Haas announced that K-Mag was leaving. A week later, they announced that Esteban was taking the seat. That's the way to do it. It's respectful.
Yeah, that needs to stop where they just don't say anything about their current driver. It's disrespectful. It's rude.
Well, and then also, they made one post about Logan, and then they've had nonstop Alex and Carlos content.
Oh my gosh!
Since that one post about Logan, I'm like, Logan. According to James, Logan is finishing out the year for 2025, which I actually was a little shocked by. I won't lie. I was shocked that he's still going to be driving, which I'm happy for him, and I hope that actually is true.
It changed,
and that it's not something that. Yeah, I hope it's not something that gets taken back, and they're like, actually, we're putting Kimmy in the car for the rest of the year. I hope that they give him a chance, because I would love for him to at least come out and prove hey, I can still I can drive. And you know what? Sorry, I'm really jumping around here.
That's okay.
But I feel like over the last couple of weeks he's been doing so much better. Mm-hmm. And I think that without the pressure of the will I have a seat, will I not have a seat, I think that he'll be able to just focus on racing.
Yeah. And
he'll be able to put his head down, focus. If he comes out and has a good second half of the summer break, I think it's really good for his future career in other series, in IndyCar or in Elms or in WEC or wherever he goes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm also going to give my champagne problem to Logan. I guess I'm going to take that back. He's my honorable mention.
Okay.
What we just talked about. My champagne problem is the Williams team and how they...
Mm-hmm.
It's their social media and comms teams have been moving so weird in Formula 1. McLaren's was weird a few weeks ago. Ferrari's was weird how they announced Lewis without doing a goodbye post to Carlos first. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. And I don't know, just there is this driver right now that is working with your team and still being a team player, even though they know they're going to be leaving at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Even though they know they have to put in good performances, can't seem too mad, can't seem too upset, or else people are going to be like, well, you get let go and you're suddenly an asshole. I don't know, you need to be respectful and thankful for the current driver you have right now. And I don't know, I feel like it would be different for Williams if Alex is scoring points every race, and they're like, well, but they're not. I don't know. Very interesting. And we're Logan defenders through and through. So
yeah, one thing about us, no matter what happens, we're still going to be like, aw, Logan.
I'll be tuned into whatever he does next year.
Shout out to you, MJ. I know you're going through it right now.
Shout out to you, MJ. That was announced, and MJ was the first person I thought of. Also, I'll see a sad edit, and I have to refrain myself from sending it to MJ because I'm like, one, I know she's probably already seen it, and two, I don't want to make her even more sad.
Yeah. Poor girl.
Yeah.
But there's always a chance. I still would love for Logan to go to IndyCar.
I think there's a good chance for that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said this before, but the day that we get an announcement or like a hint or a rumor that he is testing with an IndyCar team, I'm gonna lose it. It'll be so exciting.
Mm-hmm. Like, and also,
it's gonna
like,
happen.
IndyCar is just so accessible. You have so much access to drivers. Yeah. Like, we, like, are able, we'd be able to see so much of Logan Sargeant.
We attended, obviously, the Miami Grand Prix. And the ticket price that we paid for that is the same amount of us attending the Indy 500, the Indy Road Course, Mid-Ohio, where we also bought paddock passes, and the St. Louis race, where we also bought paddock passes. We could attend...
And honestly...
a little bit. We're going to Nashville, too, and we bought those tickets, but a little bit of Nashville.
We did get BOGO.
We did get
the
BOGO.
Tickets for Nashville, which did help. But...
the fact that we're attending, like, 4.5-ish races under the same amount of money with getting paddock passes.
For two of them. We got pit paddock for two of them.
Yeah. That's absolutely insane. Mm-hmm. Formula One needs to be more accessible to the fans. They want to talk about lower rating, lower viewing, the American fans, they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care. My dad is, like, a Hilton's member, so he sent me, I guess he gets, like, emails for promotions and stuff. He sent me a thing for Vegas, and it was like, here's the Vegas packages if you book your room with Hilton. And it was like, book a room, and then you get this, like, food one night, and attendance to free practice one. And it was like over $1,000. It's like, I get a hotel room and free practice one in this deal you're trying to give me?
They're insane.
And my dad was like, what'd you think about that? And I was like, that was outrageous. And he was like, yeah, I laughed while I was sending it to you. And I was like, thank you.
No. IndyCar would never.
No, IndyCar would never.
But another thing, just kind of as a mid-year reflection, because we are definitely, like, new IndyCar fans. Mm-hmm. And I think we really didn't start, like, we were, like, 2 or 3 races in before we really started getting into IndyCar.
Yeah.
And we say it a lot, but there's definitely, like, a shift happening. Like, so many people we see
for sure
are talking about how they want to get into IndyCar, how they need to know, like, where to start and how to get into it. And I will say that making the transition from Formula One to IndyCar was really confusing at first.
It was.
Because IndyCar does things so different, and, like, they do it, like, different weekend to weekend. Like, each race has their own, like, plan, I guess. Sometimes the races are on Saturday, sometimes on Sunday, sometimes there's 2 races in a weekend, sometimes they do qualifying this way or qualifying that way, and it's just, like, that was, like, really drawing to me because Formula One is so, like, cut and dry, like, this is what we do every weekend. So that was kind of hard to make the transition, but, like, if you're, like, interested in getting into IndyCar, like, definitely let us know if you have questions, because chances are, if we don't know the answer, we'll just go to people that do know the answer, like, McKenna, Sarah Offey, like, all of them, they are the perfect people to follow for it as well, because a lot of our, like, Formula One friends, like, are also just getting into IndyCar, and it's just...
we love it.
It's so exciting. I love it. It's just... it makes me happy. It makes me like,
too.
warm inside knowing that we're getting, like, truly a good fan base, and that the girlies are making that transition to such, especially for the American fans, such an accessible racing series.
Also, once again, Friday, August 2nd, saying this, if Logan does come over to IndyCar and all these people are going to be like, well, you can't make it in Formula One, so you're being tossed over to IndyCar. Like, genuinely,
shut up.
You don't get it.
You don't get it.
You don't get it, okay? No.
We're not wanting Logan to go to IndyCar because
we think it's going to be
easier.
We think
it's easier for him. We want Logan to go to IndyCar because he's not going to be disrespected. He's going to be given the respect that he deserves because IndyCar has a lot of American drivers, but they have drivers from all over the world, different countries, and there's less of, like, a stigma about that. Mm-hmm. Like, American drivers they're just not as widely accepted in Formula One, and I get it. It's a very long tradition. Mostly Europeans are in it. I mean, you see it as well with even, like, Yuki and Zhou. Like, they aren't given the same opportunities that drivers from Europe are given. Yeah. And I kind of loop Australia in with Europe, but even then, like, it's harder for them to get into it just because the European drivers are karting together from very early ages.
Well, I mean, we've seen it so much with Pato and Colton, how Pato was literally promised a Red Bull seat, but then he couldn't get those super license points because he was raced in America and came up through the like Indy series, and Red Bull was like, we're at a loss, that we don't know what to do. And then they're like, I'm so sorry, we gotta let you go. So then he's like, well, okay.
Yeah, I saw some tweets being like, if you want to keep Checo to keep the Mexican fans, you know what to do.
You know what to do.
Posting pictures of Pato, and I'm like,
what?
I would love the opportunity for Pato to go to Formula One. Like, don't get me wrong. I would absolutely be so excited for him because that's what he wants. But there are some drivers in IndyCar that are like, no, I don't want to go to
Christian Lundgaard.
Yeah, I have no interest in going to Formula One.
Because I think it, I don't think it was Zach Brown that said it, but like the McLaren team kind of was like, our IndyCar drivers could have that opportunity maybe come down the line type of deal. And Christian Lundgaard was like, I don't fucking want to do that. I've been over there. I'm out. I'm done. Oh, also, like, speaking of that, I saw today pictures of Colton in 2022 doing a grid walk with Lando in Miami, and Colton was supposed to drive the MCL in Miami. He was supposed to test it. I don't know what happened. He didn't, and then Polo was also there wearing a McLaren team polo.
That's one for the history books.
That is one for the history books, which I don't even think I know all the facts of that. But yeah, pretty crazy.
We need to ask McKenna to do a video breaking down that whole situation.
Yeah, and they're still trying to sue him to this day.
To this day.
Like, Zach Brown is still... He's like, Zach Brown saying, I don't think it's fair, we're getting a harsh rep. Buddy, go look through your record books.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. Well, like we said, make sure you're following us on social media. In 2 weeks, we will be in St. Louis for the Gateway race.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
We just have to get through the...
Wait.
Well, yeah.
2 weeks.
Good job.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you for doing that. I mean, it's the weekend for us now. We're having fun. We're hanging out. We got to get through the 1 work week. And then the weekend, it's your birthday weekend.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
And then we have to get through another week. And then we'll be in St. Louis.
Our friend Lexi's going with us.
Yep.
We know a lot of people going, but if you are going, definitely let us know because we'd love to meet up. We need to make some more bracelets.
We need to make a lot more bracelets.
Mm-hmm. We need to make some green Connor Daly ones just in case, and maybe that'll manifest it enough.
Yeah. We can manifest that so hard.
Yep.
Anything else to add before we sign off?
I don't think so. First, we're going to get through this, guys, together.
We'll get through this break.
Our summer break episodes, we really only have to, have 2 more summer break episodes?
Just next week.
1 more summer break episode? We got this! We got this.
Next week will probably be, I'm saying probably, our One Direction to Motorsport pipeline video.
Mm-hmm. I think in general, like, a breakdown of the whole fangirl.
Oh, yeah.
The fangirlification.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Unless there's, like, a bunch of news, once again, that we have to report on, but we both are kind of thinking that it might be, like, a slower week. Everyone's, like, finally, like, you know, they did their things at their headquarters, and now they're, like, off. Mm-hmm. So, next week will probably be that episode, which will be really fun. Once again, we've said this, we are the most qualified to be talking about it. We are veteran fangirls,
We are
to
veteran
be honest.
Fangirls. We've been through many phases.
Ringer, I should say.
And we were put through the ringer with them.
We were put through the ringer.
Mm-hmm.
So, look forward to that episode. If there's some crazy breaking news that happens over the weekend, you will be hearing this on Monday, but
check out our TikTok.
Check our socials.
Because we will have reactions to it on there.
We always do. We always do. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week.